Welcome to my kitchen for our class. So excited to be teaching with you. Now, one heads up, if you're listening to this in a timely manner, not much later, just know that on Monday, February 10th, we begin coach training. If you do want a healing experience and to get certified, that's where you're gonna go to rivkamalka.com. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm like one of these people that has sponsored by rivkamalka.com, except it's me. That's so funny. All right, let's get into it. Parshas Beshalach is amazing. That's the Torah portion of the week. It is when the Jewish people left Egypt, and we talk all about the splitting of the sea. When you listen, I ask you to please let this information just wash over you. It's kind of like storytelling. It's not here to tell you stuff. It's here to help you experience yourself, okay? Because everything about coming out of Egypt and the whole story of Egypt is imprinted in our DNA as part of our life experience. We all have an Egypt, and we all have times when we come out of Egypt, and we all have times when we face that sea and we are terrified and we don't know what to do. So everything is personal and everything is instructional. Let's head right in. Here we go. So the Jewish people are finally out of Egypt. They have been there for 210 years. They've seen the plagues. They're starting to get back a semblance of selfhood, of nationhood, of recovery. They have been beaten beyond. And guess what? They're out of Egypt, and no sooner do they start traveling than they are faced with the sea in front of them. And not only is there this sea in front of them that they've somehow got to cross or do something with, behind them, they hear the rumbling of Paro and his men, because Paro went a little crazy and had buyer's remorse after he let the Jewish people go. He said, "What did I do to let go of such a precious commodity? I'm going to lose money. I'm going to lose slaves. I've got to get them back." So he enrolled his men into going to fight the Jewish people against all odds. It made no sense. Don't mess with the people. But he went to go mess with them. Now, the Jewish people were terrified. They didn't know what to do. And what happens when we're scared, my friends? What happens when we get triggered? Pay attention. We get angry. Isn't that interesting? You'd think that fear just looks like fear. No, sometimes it looks like anger. So pay attention to that in your life. If you feel yourself angry at something, it might just be fear. So they said to Moses, they said, "What did you bring us here for? What are you trying to do to us? Were there not enough graves in Egypt? We told you, don't take us out, just leave us here. And now look what's happening." Oh, could you imagine? So Moshe, he goes and he starts praying to Hashem. What should I do? I don't know what to do. What's the correct course of action here? What do you want, God? Should I stand here and pray my heart out to you on behalf of this people? What do you want? Well, there was one man, and his name was Nachshon ben Aminadav. And if you know this story, it's okay. We review the Parsha every year. You're going to imagine Nachshon ben Aminadav in all his glory, his courage, and most importantly, his clarity. And this the Medrash and the Talmud tells us about. Nachshon ben Aminadav was the brother-in-law of Aaron, and he took his feet and walked one step at a time right into that sea. He walked forward. He was not afraid. He didn't join the masses that were full of trigger, fright, anger, blame. He knew something. He knew that if Hashem did all those miracles for us, he didn't do that just to hurt us. Like it says on a plaque somewhere, you didn't come this far just to come this far. Impossible. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. All that matters is that there is a God that loves you, and he will take care of everything. And so Nachshon ben Aminadav walked into the water, and he didn't just walk in up to his knees or his thighs or his stomach. No, he walked in all the way up to his neck. Do you know what that means? He risked everything. I'm not stopping to do what I need to do just because I don't see a result. What I'm clear about is that there is a God who is guiding me and protecting me and has brought me out of Egypt, and he will bring me all the way. That was his clarity. He did not turn around to see, is everyone following me? Am I doing the right thing? I'll get my validation from other people? No. He didn't even look to Moses. Should I be doing this? Should I ask permission from someone else about how to live my life? No. He instead listened to his neshama and to his own life experiences that Hashem had shown him. Hashem had shown him, along with the rest of the Jewish people, that he will take care of us 100%, that we are his beloved nation, and that he's not going anywhere, and that he can do anything. And that is what empowered Nachshon ben Aminadav to walk into the water up to his neck. And it says in the Medrash and Talmud that Hashem actually said to Moses, why are you standing here praying to me when my people are suffering? No. This is not how we go about things. Take action. People are suffering. And so Moshe was redirected. How fascinating is that? So many things. Nachshon ben Aminadav walked in. He didn't doubt himself and say, but I'm not Moshe. I'm not the leader. What right do I have to lead? Or, I'm not Moshe. I don't have the worth and the greatness to do great things. Or, maybe I'm being a fool and I just shouldn't do this. Or, nobody else is moving. Eventually, they did move. Obviously, he went first, right? Or, I don't see anything happening, so I'll just stop now. He said none of those things. He just walked forward. And my friends, this is a lesson for life for us, a deep and powerful lesson. In our lives, we are going to have times. Sometimes it's frequent, not just a big moment. Frequent moments where we have to make decisions. And in those times of decision making, we need to know that Hashem is with us 100%. We don't need to only sit in despair or stand in despair. We can take our feet and we can walk forward right into that very thing that looks daunting. Because after all, there will be a God to catch us on the other side. And we don't need to look for special leadership titles in order to do these things. I believe that the greatest leaders are those who have leadership from within. Do you know what it means to be a leader from within? To be a leader means one who leads themselves. You see, when we think of leadership, we think, oh, how many followers do they have, right? But that's the external leadership. There's no leader without one who leads themselves. And what does that mean to lead yourself? To have clarity on your value, to have a good character, to have discipline and monitoring of your behavior, to have agency and free choice and to use it well. When you take care of your own self in whatever way you are meant to, you are developing leadership qualities. You are a leader. And then you can take that leadership and bring it forward to the masses. Or you may begin something like my friend she did this amazing thing. Think about leadership. She had a bunch of jewelry and she looked at this jewelry and said, I don't want to throw this away. It's so pretty. What can I do with it? Oh, I wish I could send it to Israel. I wish I could send it to the wives of the soldiers so that they could have something pretty. And so she just did a little bit of research and figured out how she could send it. And then she told some friends, and the friends joined in, and then they told more people. And all of us have jewelry that we don't really wear so much. And the women came and they just gave their jewelry. It was so beautiful. I may have even shared this online before, but this simple act of this woman spread to many different cities, and women were able to do something, to give in a meaningful way. Many of them sent notes together with their jewelry, and I saw the footage of the evening of love that took place in Israel as the women there, the wives of the soldiers, got to walk along the tables looking at the jewelry, seeing what they liked, and getting gifts from their sisters. We made sisters. It was so amazing. So many things have happened, so many beautiful acts of unity. that one sticks with me because I like jewelry, but also because I know this woman. She's not one of these people that's going to stand on a stage and yell. She's not. She's just goodness. And she took that goodness and she led herself. I'm going to do something with this. This was her own decision. And from there, she became a leader. Do you see? She didn't ask anyone, is it okay? No. Should I start an organization? No. Just do the thing. Also, in our lives, there's going to be times where we feel like, I've just been through Mitzrayim. I've just been through the hardest chapter of my life. I can't do more. I really can't. I know that God took me out of it. I totally get that, but I can't do more. And then we're faced with what looks like more. And we can feel despairing then. We can get fearful and angry, just like the Jewish people. So normal. But there is more. There is a higher level that we can be at. We always have a choice whether to function from our lower self or our higher self. So your lower self is very responsive to your nervous system, to the triggers, to the primitive brain. It looks scary, so I'm terrified, so I'm angry, so I feel out of control, right? But the higher self, if you can activate it and connect to it, not that you won't feel the feelings, be with the feelings, but also activate the higher truths. There is a God. He does love me. He did take care of me. There will be a way out of this. This is not meant to hurt me. It's going to be okay. When we can get to that higher level, then we can walk like Nachshon ben Aminadab into this circumstance, knowing that on the other side is not only the splitting of the sea, meaning what seemed impossible is now possible, but on the other side was an enormous, magnificent amount of riches. The blessings beyond. Could you imagine the Jewish people? Oh my goodness, they were slaves in the Egyptians' houses. The things that the Egyptians did to them were terrible. I saw a picture book that actually, I think it was the Haggadah, that was depicting the Midrashim about the slavery in Egypt. And this one image, there were many horrible images of backbreaking labor and blood and sweat and tears and crying and children, really terrible. But this one image stayed with me for its smallness. You know, sometimes the micro says more than the macro. I can't hold that much suffering, but this one image I could hold. And it was an image of a man standing, an illustration of a man standing in the corner of an Egyptian person's home with a candle on his head. And he would have to be the lamp holder for the Egyptians' dinner time. That's how they used the Jews. One of the ways, horrible ways, but that was one of the less horrible ways. All you need to do is stand there and hold a candle on your head while you're starving and you're weak and people in front of you are laughing and eating and drinking and you're standing there with a candle on your head, disgraceful. Oh my goodness. And so this is what the Jewish people had endured, what they had seen, where they had been. They would never believe that on the other side, they would be holding those same dishes that they saw in their hands. It would be theirs, washed up onto the shore on the other side of the sea that Hashem prepared for them. They would never believe. And also that they were able to take during the plague of darkness. They didn't even take it. They were given it by the Egyptians. It's mind-blowing. What is on the other side? Now, in order to help ourselves get into a higher state, we've got to exercise the muscle. It doesn't just happen. There's nobody that I know of that's like terrified and fearful and full of anxiety and then suddenly says, oh, I'm okay. I just remembered that I am taken care of. Everything is fine. I mean, I don't do that. I don't know anyone who does. The nervous system doesn't even allow it. But what the nervous system does allow is for muscle memory and practice and affirmations. It's amazing. And so getting into this higher state where we can have the clarity of Nachshon ben Aminadab actually requires practicing that state in smaller moments whenever you can. something seems upsetting, something drops on the floor. So let's say a plate drops out of the floor, or in my house, something drops out of the fridge, and it's usually my fault. I know, because I put it there. And the instinct is to jump, to get fearful, to get angry, to wonder who did it, to wonder why they did it. And you can actually train yourself to smile, to breathe. A lot of you out there do this already. I know a lot of people say mazel tov when things break. And it's just like a trained response. We're not getting angry. We're saying mazel tov. It's great. Something to celebrate. It's only a plate. That's what we're celebrating. It's fine. It's only the milk all over my fridge. It's fine, right? We can train our mazel tov, or we can train ourselves to breathe through it if it's really, really difficult, and to breathe through it and say whatever words calm your nervous system from your higher self. Hashem, you're walking me through this. Hashem, you're smiling at me right now. Hashem, I'm your daughter. You know I need help with this. Send me some help. Just, Hashem, gamzu l'tova. Whatever you have in mind, I can't wait to see. Send me, I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out great. Hashem, thank you for this moment, and for giving me the chance to say thank you as a human being, because that's a very high thing to do, and I don't understand what's happening. We dialogue like this, we breathe like this, we access our higher selves in the moment, and number one, we're able to access that during more difficult times. Number two, it makes our home life so beautiful. Our marriage is beautiful, our parenting beautiful, when your loved ones know that you are not going to snap at them or break at them or yell at them or get too stressed. We want to keep things moderately nice, right? We want to have a nice atmosphere in our home. And that comes from this practicing. It really is connected to the nervous system and to emunah, the soul and the body. It's together, Practicing these things makes us into people that can literally withstand lots of chaos. I have had this fascinating thing happen to me, and I welcome you to look at this in your life as well. So oftentimes I find that I'm about to speak and I'll get interrupted, or I'm speaking to someone, something's happening, I'm getting interrupted. And it used to be that maybe I would feel bad if I'm getting interrupted at certain points, or maybe I would just feel frustrated. I would have feelings about it. And right now, for the last long while, I've been specifically noticing that every interruption is a cosmic interruption. Hashem himself sent that interruption. How interesting is that? Is anything outside of God? And it gets me thinking, okay, I just got interrupted, so maybe this conversation is better for later. Maybe I actually don't need to say this. Maybe this person is needing me to listen now more than talk. I have things I want to say about myself, but maybe if I tune into the moment, it needs to be a little bit more about them. Or maybe I need to set a boundary and send that other person away and say we need some quiet time, right? That is a possibility. But for the most part, I'm very, very aware this is cosmic. Nothing happens randomly. So this interrupting is meaningful. And it's been an amazing exercise because I feel Hashem's presence in the interruptions, which is so funny. Sometimes people feel Hashem in the trees, in the wonderful things that happened, and I do. But ironically, it's working that muscle of emunah in those moments that makes me feel closer to Hashem. So I want to offer that to you in your life with regard to interruptions. Okay, so that is just to review, Nachshon ben Aminadav. Don't look around to other people to wait for your own leadership. Be the leader of yourself in your life, and you may also have opportunity to be leaders of the masses. But the first thing is to be a leader of yourself. And then we looked at Nachshon ben Aminadav, having a hard time with that, and how he was a leader of himself. He prepared himself. He was in the clarity of his emunah and bitachon, and that's what allowed him to walk into the water. And sometimes when we are in, how do I say this? We're in positions that feel like too much for us. We use this mantra. I love this affirmation. I can do hard things. We love that mantra of I can do hard things. We used to do this program called Intensati. I don't know if it's still around, but the idea of the program was that if you change your state and combine movement with affirmations, then it becomes part of you. And it was so much fun. We brought it to our retreats, and there was a series of affirmations. And one of them was, I can do hard things. I can do hard. And you can stamp it out. I can do hard things. You can yell it out. It's so awesome because it's the truth. I can do hard things. And when you know that, you realize, I thought I couldn't do hard things. I thought that was too hard for me. I thought I could never repair that relationship. I thought I could never make the phone call. I thought I couldn't. But I can do hard things. And when you do that thing that's hard, you actually get the sea split for you. That's what the Torah says. He who comes to purify themselves, Hashem helps him. And it also says, open for me, like an opening the eye of a needle. Tiny little opening. Do that hard thing and I will open for you a giant room like the size of an ulam, a great ballroom, right? And this is what the Jewish people experienced. They experienced that they would go into the sea, Hashem would split it, and then they would get the riches on the other side. And the same thing is with us. When something is hard for you, don't be afraid of it. Welcome it. Come here, you. You're hard. I want you. You know why? You are my gift. You're going to challenge me. You're going to strengthen me. If you would pick up a weight and just do weights that are too light for you, you would not build a muscle. It's only when you pick up a weight that actually tears the muscle. That's why you get ripped, because it's tearing the muscle. That builds new muscle. It's got to be that little bit too heavy. But don't worry, because Hashem is overseeing the whole process. But you want to do that thing that is a little bit too hard. Is that crazy? I'm not saying that you should be not loving, but sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself is to tell yourself, yes, you can do hard things. I was telling you that I will tell you about the process with the coaching school. Well, when I began the campaign, I had just been back from a trip to Israel, and I know that every time that we open the school, which is only twice a year, I need to do advertising. And because I'm not always online, it's kind of like cranking up the machine from 0 to 60. That's what it feels like. Like, start writing emails, start putting out content, and all the time, I'm a little bit fighting the voice that says, don't just campaign, you should be out there all the time. Like, this is not a way to go. It confuses me, and it's a lot of work. And then there's people calling, people interested, and we have phone conversations with every student because it's a big investment and it's a big time investment, and people just want to talk about it. They want to talk it through, so I'm on the phone. It's like a chapter. And so to get into this chapter, whoa, I was like, I felt that feeling of, I can't do it. I just got back from Israel. I'm flying high. You want me to sit in front of a computer? Well, I did it. Baruch Hashem. Hashem did it through me. I did my part. I did the hard thing. And when you do the hard thing, you feel fantastic. Because you see, it's only that hard thing that shows you who you can be. Until then, everything else was a dream or a potential. Until Nachshon ben Aminadav walked into that water, they were just standing on the side, feeling like, I wish the sea would split. I wish there would be a way for us to cross. Well, until you go ahead and do your part, right? This awakening from below, you got to go in there and do your part. Then you get the heavenly assistance from above. So take a minute to just think about your life. What is something hard? What's hard for you? Is it hard to make a phone call, to make a health appointment? Is it hard to get a certain part of your house clean? Is it hard to hire a coach or a therapist or some other kind of help that you need? Is it hard to love your husband more and to see the good in him? Is it hard to love your child more and to see the good in them? What's hard, and how can you overcome them? How is this challenge directly for your benefit, gifted for you, so you can become a strong, proud person? We feel pride when we do things that are hard. It's an amazing feeling. Okay, I want to end with a story, and this story really touched me. It happened on a phone call. I have students, and these students coach people, and sometimes in front of me so that I can supervise, etc. And so, interestingly, one of the people that were coached was a teenager. And this teenager, it's all confidential, so changing some details and all that. This teenager she had a sister, and this sister was not religious, not observant, and she had left school at a young age, and she was not living an observant lifestyle at all. And this teenager might have been Hasidish, and so the disparity was great, and the confusion was great, and her feeling of having lost a sister, her sister was doing her lifestyle, she's doing her lifestyle, she's the younger sister, she misses her older sister, really caused her a lot of pain. It was the distance that really, really hurt her. And so at some point during the coaching session, the coach, one of our beloved students, used the tool of visualization. And she had this teenager visualize a great theater. And in the theater was someone on the stage talking. And she was talking about her experience of having a sister who went on a different path, and what she did with that experience, how she loved her sister so much, how she kept her own path, how she created a relationship with her sister, how she learned to accept her sister, all these amazing, amazing things. And all the people in the audience were also teenagers who were having similar struggle, kids who had sisters or brothers that, got into drugs and just started doing other things, and they were left bewildered and feeling sad as if they had lost a sibling. And that was the visualization. And so when it was over, she asked this teenager, so you're sitting in the audience and someone's sitting next to you. What do they have to say about the person on the stage? And she said, well, they say that she's amazing. And they also say to me that, she makes them feel like they're not alone. And she said, wow. And what does the girl on the other side of you say? Oh, she says that girl has so much courage and so much strength. And then the coach said, would it surprise you to know that you are the person on the stage? And she smiled. And the coach said, yes. I just heard you speaking to an entire group of adults about your experience. Don't you remember? That's what had happened. She had been speaking to parents about helping their kids navigate this just a week or two ago. And she was like having this awareness, what? I'm that girl? And in real life, she really is that girl. It wasn't just a fantasy. No, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting that the coach would say, imagine that you could be that girl. But the innovation was that she already is that girl. How wild is that? And that's my parting thought that I want to leave you with. So often we don't want to do the hard thing because we feel that we can't. It's not us. It's too much. We can't do it. And another incredible tool for getting there, for doing the hard thing, is to take an actual inventory and to realize you already do hard things. And even in the realm of the thing that you think is way too hard, like I said, repairing a relationship, take an inventory. How much have you already done in that relationship? You've already given, you've already gifted, you've already sorted so much. This is just the next step. You can call it hard because it feels hard, but actually it's you. And the same thing is in your marriage. That next step might feel so daunting, to love more, to speak up more, to set more boundaries, to have more communication, to set aside time. It might seem like it's so hard, but actually you're already doing it on so many levels. This is just you up-leveling to the next level. And maybe that's why also, once you get there, it's not that hard, because you were born for this. You already do this. So the fear is greater than the deed itself. So I bless you, and I bless us all, to be that Nachshon ben Aminadav in our life, to take leadership of ourselves, to lead others when necessary, and to know that you can do hard things. And that even though it may seem so hard, it's actually quite natural. It's the next best step for you to take, and Hashem is going to come and split the sea for you. Wishing you an amazing Shabbos. Can't wait to hear from you. See you in the comments below.